Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. It's the power of 8 at 8. Let me unmute Eileen here. How's it going, Eileen? Welcome.
I'm all right. How are you?
Wonderful. Yeah, it was a hot one here today. I bet it was hot in Florida. Huh?
Yeah, we've had like 95 for the last probably month. We've had a hot month.
Oh, yeah. It's good for swimming, though, right?
Oh, yeah. It's great for swimming.
Did you get out to the pool today? I know a lot of times.
I didn't because I finished the editing on the book. The hardest part was the notes and the references at the end of each section, and then trying to organize it. And it's done today, and it's June 1st, and I lost a month in the process because we did like 3/4 of the book by January, and then we felt the book was too short, so we added more to it until April. And then I kind of lost a month because I had to do my taxes. I went to see friends in Orlando. I went to see a friend who lost a loved one. So I feel like we could have been here with the book going out to everybody on May 1st. And instead we're June 1st, which I hope we can get it online and published by July 1st so we can bring it to ECETI with us.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. So yeah, the references in and of itself, that's just a project. I can't imagine, because I've got to, now that you've done all that, I've still got to get it all and put it on a thumb drive so that we have some offline copies for all of us, just to make sure we're covered. And
yeah, for posterity, in case suddenly AI removes all Mandela effect videos online, and then we'll be like, where are they? Where'd they all go? But you'll have it on a hard drive, which AI can't get to. So if they all disappear and change, you'll know that's a Mandela effect because it's not connected to the internet.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, if we put it in there and the videos are suddenly not on the thumb drive anymore, that'd be kind of creepy, huh?
I'd be like, we are in a simulation and somebody just hit delete.
It happened with that, it's really trippy because, I had that map file, artwork file, and it changed, and I was like,
did you have it online, though? Was it available on your computer?
It was on a hard drive to the internet? That was not even connected to my computer anymore. I hadn't touched that file since 2012. And here I open it up 5 years after that. I'm like, oh, yeah, I've got that map file. And I just thought it would be protected. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I'm going to have the old Earth map file. And then I open it, and the map had changed supernaturally, but not my artwork. Because consciousness, that's why
proof of a Mandela effect.
Oh, yeah. So nothing could have got on that hard drive and done that,
Well, my proof was when we were chatting about the Bible offline, and you said, go to your Bible and go look up. It was 2 years ago, and you said, look up Isaiah, the Lion and the Lamb.
Oh, yeah, 11:6.
And I went to my Bible that I hadn't cracked open in decades. I got it at university. And there it was. The change was in my Bible, and my Bible's not online.
Yeah. Well, remember Vanessa VA had that, the guy who had highlighted it. He's like, under my highlighter, it changed.
Yes, that was so funny. And I even highlighted it and it changed. But that is just, it's wonderful in a way to experience the miraculous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'd never seen anything like that. It really opened my whole brain up to really consider anything's possible at this point.
But, some things aren't a Mandela effect, and sometimes we can't tell. So I'm driving through Wendy's, right? And I'm going to order burgers for the family. And I look at the sign, and I can't find what anybody eats. The whole menu is different. So I figured it out. I placed my order. I drove through, and I got it. And I went, hang on a minute. I want to know if I've shifted again, because I think shifts are sometimes we shift together, and sometimes we shift individually. Mm-hmm. So I drove through the line again, and this poor lady in the speaker, I'm like, hi, I was just through. Have you changed the menu out here? And she goes, we've added a few sandwiches. And I said, but did you change the menu? Like, whole new board, new numbers for everything. And she goes, yes, we did. Why? And I'm like, oh, no reason. Bye. Have a nice day. And I drive off. She thinks this crazy lady is asking me if we changed our menu.
Yeah, you have to ask, though.
Because if she said no, that's the menu we've had for a year now, that would have indicated that I jumped between my last visit there because it was totally different.
Yeah. And we have that all the time. You see a new logo. That's how I was with the Volkswagen one. I know we talk about that all the time. And I remember seeing the change. And,
that changed my steering wheel. So you can't get a better change than that. Like somebody snuck in your car when you weren't looking and put a new logo on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's trippy. I didn't own one. So I just started noticing them on the street. And I thought, oh, that's crafty. I know it's a V and a W now. I can't believe I didn't notice. And so, yeah, I just assumed they changed it. But then you look at the history, and it's always been that way. And
you check the history. So I had to check the lady inside. Because if it was changed, then it wasn't a Mandela effect, and I didn't jump. And it's good to know these things. But it makes you ask odd questions to people. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
I would like to do an experiment with this group, if you're all willing, because we're pretty big here now. Jen's Gems, I hooked up with her early on with you. When we only had like 150 subscribers, me and Jen, and she attempted to do a Volvo logo change because it used to be a circle with Volvo, and now it's got the male arrow sticking out like the symbol for Mars. You know how Mars has an arrow, and Mercury, Venus, which is female, has the cross sticking out.
I know of it as the male and the female emblem. I didn't know it was
representative
of Mars.
Yeah, they're based on alchemical signs for the planets that go back thousands of years. So the female is the Venus symbol, and the male symbol is the Mars symbol. And she said, let's try to get rid of the Mars symbol, the male symbol, and put it back to the way it was, just a circle. But there were probably like 20 or 30 of us trying to do it 2 years ago. So I was wondering if you guys would even be interested, because it might not work. We might need a lot more people, and then it'll make us feel weak and powerless because it didn't work. I was wondering if we could change the Volkswagen symbol back to not having a break, because it's more artistic that way. It's more creative that way. The break in it makes it easy to see the V and the W, but it also makes it very mundane, very in-your-face obvious, not very artistic. So do you want to think about that? Because if we've got a lot of people, but I don't know if, say, 1,000 people see our videos, our live streams in a week. I'm not sure 1,000 can crack that. I'm not sure that the 100th monkey effect isn't more like 7% of the population would have to be thinking that in order to make the change.
All right.
And what's 7% of 7 billion? It's a lot.
Yeah, I have no idea. Need a calculator for that one.
Yeah, I definitely need a calculator for that one. Is there some other thing that we can try small, that we can like experiment with the Mandela effect without taking on too much, because there aren't enough of us to make the change, and then we'd feel, oh, well, that didn't work. Kind of.
See, if I remember right, we were trying to change it from the male to the female then, right? Weren't we trying to add the little cross at the bottom instead of the arrow?
Yes.
I think that's what we did the first time. We didn't try to revert it. We tried to
change it from male to female, but there were so few of us back then.
Yeah.
I know she had 150 subs. I had 150 subs. We were like, and then she lost her channel and started a new one. Remember?
Yeah.
She didn't lose it. She didn't they didn't take it away from her. Sorry, Jen. I'm, talking ancient history here. She started a new one. She wanted to. Right. So I don't know. Is it safe to play around with? I think it is. Is it hard and difficult? Yes, because we might have to have more numbers.
Well, a lot of people think, that we've done things on accident before. So if we're really trying to do it on purpose, it might, if you're sort of like, if that line was added, like you kind of feel like that could have been a shift from you wondering, because you thought about it needing a line in there
constantly. I could never see.
I'm sure you're not the only one. So it's like you and everyone else who had that thought, maybe that, that combined intention shifted it.
But then we did it on the grand scale and shifted it for everybody. But when I lost my back tires that I'd put on, Somebody commented on that video, and he said, boy, you know, I can't believe I'm sharing this, but I put a new door on, and the door latch didn't meet the hole. So he filled that, and he carved out a new hole in the door frame for the door latch to go into.
And they couldn't figure out why?
Well, he did it for a new door. And then 2 weeks later, the door wouldn't close because the old one came back and the new one that he carved out was gone. So he said, I had a missing door hole in a door frame that just disappeared on me one day.
That's weird.
Those are tiny, wee little changes that nobody in the world will know except for you. Like your map.
Yeah. Or like people have had little dents or wrecks on their car that have vanished, you know?
So I guess I'm saying if we are ever going to experiment with it, we should take something little that we have in our hands that we can all focus on, because it's not for the whole world. So you wouldn't need 1 million or 1 billion people getting involved to make the change for everybody. You'd just be making it for yourself on something that you created, but others would be helping you to change that.
That would be a trip if we shifted it like that. Then everyone's like, no, that's how it's always been.
Yeah, like you draw something. Okay, it's unique to you, and you show it to us, and you instruct us on what the change is that you want. Like, I don't know, like maybe you drew something with a hand up like this, and you're going to say, come on, everybody, I want you guys to change it to a hand down or a hand like this.
Or making the peace sign.
Making the peace sign. We want to change this waving hand to a peace sign. And then you'd have to just put it away, and we'd have to work on it and work on it and work on it. And then someday, hopefully, you'd look at it and the peace sign would be there, because it's a few people changing one small thing instead of a few people changing a huge global corporation's
that affects
logo.
Everyone. Right, yeah.
That affects everybody.
Yeah. And we've seen this happen, like with Cynthia C. Larson, speaking of, you know, these shifts that individual shifts, like her tire suddenly being repaired, or like your tires, or
my tires disappeared. He gave me a free one. I put another one on. Her tire, she got, a flat tire disappeared.
Let's see. What are people saying here?
It's just something fun to think about for our group. It's kind of an activity. It's like project time.
Yeah. It's putting our power of intention together to actually something visible that we can see right in front of us. And nobody would believe us. I mean,
no, but
I guess we'd watch the video. We watch the video and we all agree in the chat and everything that it's a hand waving, right? And then we'll go back and look at it.
Person to prove the Mandela effect. But then you'd have to have it under constant surveillance so people could see that you never changed it.
Oh, yeah.
And then Mandela effects don't happen in front of your eyes. They happen when you're looking away. They happen in the in-between space, don't they? Like the softball you were throwing to your son and the mirror moving for me. It's in the in-between space where these things pop in. Rarely do they pop in right in front of your eyes.
Exactly. It would be an interesting experiment, that's for sure. Yeah.
It would be fun. I'll just put it out there as something to think about. And there has been a lot more mainstream media little snippets of aliens are real. The Air Force is confirming this. We need a new study. We might need a new military for the space program. And as these little stories keep percolating in mainstream media, which we usually miss because we don't watch mainstream media, do we? So if you look up Fox News, there's a couple in the Post on YouTube, The Hill, a couple of others are putting out like soft disclosure from the mainstream. Okay. That book that you did the interview on with Ray Hernandez.
Right.
Do you remember he had a website for the book called consciousnessandcontact.org? And if you went there, you could learn about the book. You could read a sample chapter, and then it would encourage you to go buy it. It said who the authors were. It's down. You can't access it anymore. It says it doesn't exist.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And yet it was up for quite a long time. And then
it was up during the show, right? So
and then there's been a slew of interviews about his book on YouTube. And now Metal Rabbit says, on a positive note, maybe they're reconfiguring it and they pulled it off. But usually, like, I have a website for a new company that's going to launch in a couple of weeks, and it's there and it says under construction.
Right.
Come back when we're open for business.
Exactly.
Usually when you reconfigure your website, instead of completely removing it off the internet, you just put up a banner that says, stay tuned.
Right. Check back. It's
Check
under
back.
construction, maintenance, or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't get the feeling, the vibe that it was under new construction. I got the feeling that it's been blocked, that we now can't go to that website to read free chapters or see the book, but it's still available on Amazon. So I'm going to keep an eye on this because I want to make sure it doesn't suddenly disappear off Amazon and we've got the only copies of it.
Yeah, I need to check with Ray and see if he's aware of that.
Yeah, if you could email Ray and say, hey, some of our subs, they got back to me because they were going to go get the book, check out the website, and got back to me and said, what website? Doesn't exist. And I went in there and I'm like, dang, it existed for the last 2 or 3 weeks and now it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And we know we don't have so many people we crashed the website or anything.
No. And it doesn't say, stay tuned, we're just fixing up our website here, you know. So I'm going to keep an eye on it on Amazon and make sure the book is still available, because it paints a completely different scenario than the military disclosure that's going out now. What's going out now is, hey, our pilots have seen and chased these alien craft. We need to be prepared for a military threat. We need more money. We need more taxes. We need a force. We need a space force. And then here's this huge study going, they're friendly. They really like us. Remember?
Exactly. So, I mean, like Dustin was saying, we are disclosure, and it came up in one of the BQH sessions that disclosure's here for anybody that wants to see it. You know,
yeah, because we are the disclosure. And the book actually says disclosure is happening from the bottom up, from the ground up.
Yeah,
and they're right.
Effort. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely happening through normal people, and that's where it should happen. If there are other life forms out there who want to make contact with Earthlings, it should be directly to the Earthlings and skip the government and the bankers and the corporations, because they would kind of manipulate that contact to benefit them financially, instead of saying, what's good for all people right now, you know?
Dustin said he ordered the book. It better show up. I got an email saying it was shipped, so... Yeah, I'm sure you'll get it. It just seems that it's a website issue, or they don't want people reading the free, because the beginning was all these statistics to get you hooked, right?
Yeah, the website's to get you hooked. Right. It doesn't really give you anything away. It just promotes the book.
Right.
It's like,
but
here's
I think
a
it's the first
sample.
chapter, right? Isn't it the first? Yeah. Right, so it summarizes everything, so you get to see the summary, but if you really want to get into the nuts and bolts of how they came up with the numbers, you'll have to get the book.
Yeah, so, yeah. Now, Dustin, I am doing, I did my first live stream. I did one little live stream during the blood moon eclipse where the moon turned red, the full eclipse of the moon. And that was fun for 10 minutes. It was just me. And then I was having trouble getting on with somebody else. And Michelle's Opinions talked me through the whole thing. And Jose acted as a techie for me as I interviewed Dan about contact with his higher guides and all of that. And he sees it just like the book, that it's all connected, and these are like higher beings, as opposed to there's aliens, and then there's ghosts, and then there's guides, and then there's angels. He kind of sees it as all related too, like the book does. And I'm trying to interview live one person from our community a week leading up to ESETI, because so many people, Shane, have emailed me saying that they have contact. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to have Jean on. I'm going to have Ronnie on. I'm going to ask Sherry to come on. And I'd like to get Dustin to come on if he wants to talk about contact. And if anybody in our community wants to email me, maybe we can, it's in the description, isn't it? One on YouTube at gmail.com.
No, I don't put emails down there because they'll get spammed real bad. They can search for.
Oh, yeah.
Emails. I mean, we can write it in there as the at instead of at sign, and
I'll add it to the comments afterwards, without spamming you guys. And I hope I don't get spammed by a lot of trolls or bad emails. But I want people in our community. I'm not going outside of our community because I don't know the people outside our community who want to talk to me. But anyone in our community who wants to talk about their personal contact experience leading up to ESETI, whether you're going or not. It's just like there's so many in our group that are going, me too, me too, me too. And I'm like, do you guys want to share your stories? Do you want to talk about it? And I'd say at least half of them do. Half of them are like, well, okay, I will. And the other half are like,
I love that we've created this safe place to talk about stuff like that now. That's so awesome, you know?
But do you find like half the people are too shy? They're like, no, I'll tell you in an email, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Right. I think they'll come around. I mean, because, you know, you wouldn't think it, but I'm camera shy, and I really would rather not be on here either. But I know people connect better if they see your face, and, you know, I feel like people can read you better and know that you're coming with a pure heart and stuff like that. So that's really why I do it. People, you know, if you hide behind, you know, images and stuff like that, people are like, why are they hiding their face?
Who are they? Why? Yeah. That's interesting because I found a big response in my little channel to my live stream. And I'm like, you guys really like this. You really love coming on and meeting your buddies in the chat because, you know, it's the usual suspects. It's the people that we see here, and they get to chat and connect and go, hey, how's it going? It's Thursday. This is a surprise because we usually don't give them something on Thursday, you know?
Right. So it's ONE ON YouTube, all spelled out at gmail.com.
No, YouTube wouldn't let me have their name, so I spelled it with a U and then a 2.
Okay, so just take the YO off and leave it as YouTube.
That's it. So it's ONE on YouTube without the YO, and then Google would let me have it because I had to play with the name YouTube. They won't let anybody but YouTube use the word YouTube.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll put it in the chat because I don't think the bots can scan the chat.
So maybe Dustin and Ashley, his wife, want to come on and chat about contact. I'm just doing it once a week leading up to ESETI just to kind of share the information within our group. Compare notes and see how it was different for you maybe compared to somebody else. Or how was it the same?
Yeah, also Bruce Sees All YouTube channel where he normally gets, you know, this spectacular footage of the moon up close, and you can usually see craft floating along there, structures on the moon. Anybody who hasn't checked out his channel, you want to check it out. He caught some UFOs over his house, in infrared and in regular vision, and it was amazing. Cool. Yeah, and I'm like, that's your star family saying hello, you know what I mean? So yeah, it just came out today. I was really blown away at how cool it was.
And then what about Michelle sending us photos? Do you remember she had some really cool, like possibly a contact photo? It looked like a contact photo where you had the orb swirling through her phone, taking pictures on its own. Michelle from Toronto. Wow. And then I said, well, that's really paranormal photography. You might want to have Shane put that up as images from the community with Sherry. Otherwise, we can show it here. I don't care because we share everything. I share everything with you and Sherry.
Right. Yeah, I have a number of photos I need to try to compile and probably do a whole show on it. But yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you find those worthy of showing people? Because they had orbs swirling, and then in the middle of one was a distinct alien gray face in yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
It was quite obvious. And then what else? She sent us some pictures of the sun moving, but I didn't get to see it because I don't have the capacity on my computer to watch her video. Did you get to see the video moving? The sun moving?
Yeah, it was the same as the picture, basically, just footage of it. Yeah, but it was...
was the outside of it moving, or was the whole sun moving?
I'm not really sure. I think she was holding the camera, so it's hard to tell. I know the lens flare was moving around a lot, and there's like the image stabilization, so it's really hard to determine, you know.
A lot of people think that lens flare, that blue dot, is something, don't they? Because they're not used to it yet.
And with image stabilization, it will stabilize everything, but the lens flare will continue to pop around. So it might hold your image steady, but that movement, that light is still moving around in the lens, even though the algorithm will straighten out the image.
Interesting. Then you think you caught a blue-green UFO or Nibiru.
Exactly, because it's not moving with the sun, because normally it's the opposite side of the screen. So if it's here, the sun's here, the lens flare would be opposite, and it moves like this. If you point right at it, they move together, and they always move opposite of the frame of each other. Yeah, but when you have image stabilization on, you'll have the sun there, and then this will be moving around like this from the shaky hand, you know, but the sun will be steady. So it's really difficult to tell. But yeah, it's I get a lot of spectacular pictures that I need to get around to organizing and sharing from a lot of different people.
So we'll just keep that in your archive. Because it's kind of related to what we do here and kind of not. Like we did the Stanley Hotel, we did the Hastings orbs. Sometimes we do orbs, ghosts, sometimes we do aliens, anything consciousness. But I like to save some of those for your show because it's so specific to paranormal frequencies, you know?
That'll be a good one, probably share when on the 17th when you guys come on to share your experience.
Gosh, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
So somebody reached out to me from another community and said that she's in the study too. So I just sent an email to Sherry and I said, did you want somebody outside of our community talking, or do you have enough with you and me and Ronnie and who else? Somebody else is coming in, Diane.
I haven't talked to Diane, but I'm sure she'd be game if she's not busy.
So you might have enough from our community, but it's interesting. Somebody from outside the community contacted me and said, me too, I filled out the study questionnaire.
Right. So we have enough people now. We might want to do it as a phone-in thing. I don't know about having that many video streams coming through. It might be okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're right. That would kind of like get super fuzzy, wouldn't it? You might want to do a phone-in like you did when you attached three of us, didn't you? April, me, and Ronnie talking about bugs one night.
Yeah, and I even think Nicola was in there, wasn't she?
Yes, I think she did come in.
Yeah, I think
at the end. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Nicola. Hope your knees are feeling good. Hi, everybody in the chat. I can't see it, but I always see it later.
Yeah, so that's always. I've seen Higher Self have a whole row of people across the bottom of the screen. So.
Me too. Yeah. I've seen that on Brian McFarlane's. But for some reason, his stream doesn't get wonky, but he loses them. They just, boom, they're gone. Teresa Lynch is often in there from our community. She pops in here once in a while. And people will just drop out of it, and regularly.
But they got the email. They can hop back in if they can.
Yeah, they can hop back in if they need to. Well, that's it for my end of stuff this week. Anything happening with you this week? Anything interesting or cosmic?
I'd have to say energy-wise, it's been, I don't know, kind of a mixture. I felt really good. Other times I feel like really heavy and tired, and other times maybe even a little nauseous or maybe motion sick feeling. So I don't know. And so who was it? Oh, Luna she's from the future because she's
Wisdom
tomorrow.
Wisdom of Luna.
Wisdom, yeah.
Hey, Wisdom.
So she says the energies feel great tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow for us.
Hey, Wisdom, are you in that study too? Somebody popped their hand up in one of our shows and said, I was in the study too. Might have been Wisdom from the Luna rays.
That'd be cool. So as far as topics, I think we had quite a few. I think everyone was kind of talking about water. Let me see if I can...
Well, you look for that. I've had a really good week where I was super tired from April until this week and taking lots of naps. And then the last 2 to 3 weeks, I was feeling nauseous. So were you. There was one day we almost canceled the show due to nausea.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 days, something really clicked and shifted. I no longer have ringing in the ears, which is kind of weird, and I kind of miss it because I've had it since 1990. So I'm like, well, that's kind of weird not to hear. Remember, I went online to the online generator, tone generator, and it was around 10,000 hertz.
Wow.
The ringing in my ears. I just kept putting the tone up until it matched my ringing. And I'm like, wow, 10,000, that's really, really high pitched.
Oh, yeah.
Not a dog, though, you guys told me. It's like 40,000 is a dog.
Well, above 20 is where it gets out of our range. Well, a child's range. A lot of us, we lose it at around 10 or 15 as we get older. They've got ringtones now, students use in school that the teacher can't hear. But
oh, my God, but the kids can. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, my ringing in the ears is gone. I get it about once a week now instead of 24/7 since 1990. And the nausea is gone, and I'm feeling super energetic, and I don't need any naps. And I'm like, what the heck? I just stepped into a new me in 2 days, a much more youthful and invigorated me, because I've been super tired since April.
Yeah.
So I don't know, something in me shifted, and I'm going to go with it, whatever it is. I'm going to keep going with it.
My meditation time is still like I'm going really deep and losing track of time, and and I'm still doing the shorter, just a few minutes here and there, just to sort of just breathe and then center myself and stuff like that. But
do you ever have trouble coming back? Are you like, whoa, I'm so relaxed, I don't want to come back?
Sometimes I'm so dizzy and out of it, I have to lay down and take a nap afterwards, and it's really crazy, But I figured I'm integrating something. I don't think of it as a bad thing.
Well, I've had a good shift physically, and I haven't had one of those for over a year. So
nice.
I was starting to think that maybe the cosmic energies bombarding the earth are just really, kind of tough to assimilate to. Mm-hmm. And now I'm thinking, well, if you can have some good times in between all that assimilation, then it's not that bad. If you can get back to your regular self.
And remembering to drink lots of water, because now that it's getting hotter, it's easier to get dehydrated.
That makes you tired. That makes you draggy and muzzy, in the head.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready to do the meditation, but while you guys talk about the parameters of the water meditation, I have to get that puppy removed from my dining room studio into one of my daughter's bedrooms, her bedroom over there, so she stops crying.
Okay, no problem.
Obviously, the kids have food in the bedroom, so she's sitting outside the door, scratching on it and crying. And I just know that's going to distract me during our meditation. So I'll be
no problem. I'll pull the camera on me and just ask you guys in the chat, what did we decide for the water? Are we doing, I guess, that water goes to the right place and is utilized in the proper way? That are we talking like floods, or what did we decide on that? Because I try to scroll up to see what we decided, and it won't go back that far. So. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oops, somebody said something to me and I missed it. Oh, thank you so much, Ronnie. We love you too, Dustin. Okay, so... Oh, shout out is... Hold on a second here. Is Megan actually in here? Oh. Shout out to Megan, Sherry, Atsko, and Louisiana are getting together in person, having a good time. That's so awesome. 3 light workers hanging out, having a good
Alrighty, so the dogs now are in a different room, so they won't be scratching at the door trying to eat the kids' food. So did you get some parameters on the water meditation?
Ooh, let's see.
You were saying earlier, like, not about clear, clean water necessarily for the world. We've done that a couple of times, but for flooding.
Yeah, and we've possibly caused some flooding before, but we're. I guess just with all the flooding and all the rain that I'm waiting for them to respond. Nobody's saying anything. Water everywhere.
What about water in our bodies and sacred water? Like, everything's water. Like, the planet's mostly water. Our bodies are mostly water. So if the planet's going to find a balance with its water, maybe we'll receive a balance in our water and our bodies.
A balancing of the water. I like that.
And water holds memory, which is really interesting. Dr. Emoto's studies and homeopathy uses water memory. So technically speaking, if we wanted to know who we were and where we came from and why we're here, that memory should be available somewhere in the water in our bodies.
That the water goes where it is needed and the quantity needed.
Do we have any droughts anywhere? We just have a lot of floods.
You know, that's funny you said that, because if we could just balance it out, we'd have not too much where it's too much and enough where it's not enough. And so, yeah, I like that.
Okay, so I'll go for that. Sounds
And that
good.
would make for a much greener planet, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Gosh, we've got so much water anyway here. I know most of it's salt water that you can't drink without doing something to it, or use on crops without doing something to it, but we sure do have a heck of a lot of water. Did you ever see that movie Waterworld?
I don't know.
It's old. It's like 1990, 91. How old would you have been then?
Right around graduating from high school.
Oh, okay. You might have seen it then. It's Kevin Costner. And it's it's one of those dystopian futures that they always love to produce, instead of one of those rainbow futures and golden futures that we like here. And everything is water. So you have to live on rafts and cities of rafts on water, because it's water world.
Oh, wow.
But then humans develop gills.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's kind of handy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've heard some QHHT sessions, I believe they were, where someone revisited an old life where it was primarily all water. I mean, barely any land, and they just survived like that. It was very sparsely populated, and so yeah, that's really cool.
Cool. Well, we will not meditate to go to Waterworld. We will meditate that the water we have finds its balance, so that the places that need it get it, and the places that don't need it don't get it.
And that would include us, the earth and us. So
and us, our bodies.
Those who need more water will have the desire to drink more water if you need it, and just all around feel better.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good to me. I will just put the video off for a moment.
Okay.
There we go. And then I'm going to take a little sip of water.
How convenient.
So my throat doesn't get dry. And we'll do that 3 minutes of silence where we're just intending the way we like to intend, and visualizing, and, even if you can't visualize it, you can at least feel it.
Absolutely.
So we'll do that 3 minutes of silence so we can all put in our own manifestation intention power at the end. But to start off, just kind of like sit back and scooch around, make sure you're not driving or walking or operating any heavy machinery, because this is a meditation. And you can go as deep as you like, as you want to go, while we're doing it for about 10 to 12 minutes. So when you're nice and comfortable, take a really nice, soft, slow, deep breath in, and then feel that air oxygenating your lungs as it comes in. Hold it and whoosh it all out. Let it all go out, relieving any stress or tension in the body. And then take another slow, deep breath in, hold it, and let it whoosh out. Really breathe it out comfortably. Don't force it. And remove any stress. Let that air remove any stress around you. And then finally take a third nice deep breath in. Let your tummy extend a little. Hold it. And as you let that air release from your lungs, feel every muscle in your body just relax. And go ahead and relax your neck and your shoulders. Relax your face. Relax the little muscles around your eyes and your mouth. Go ahead and relax your torso. Relax your arms and your wrists, your hands, your fingers. Relax your legs and your knees. Feel your calf muscles letting go and relaxing. Relax your ankles, and relax your feet, and relax your toes. And once you feel completely relaxed, start to breathe in through your heart center and out of your heart center. And continue to breathe in and out of your heart center or your heart chakra. And as you do so at a pace that's comfortable for you, Start to draw in a big, beautiful, clear, crystalline light of a certain color that you want to experience right here, right now. And that light coming in through your heart breath could be green, emerald green. Let that light go back out as you exhale through your heart. It could be a beautiful sparkling blue, like water, with a lot of diamond bright sparkles in it. And exhale that through your heart. It could be a pink, a very loving pink, or some people really feel like they want to breathe in the yellows from the sun and the oranges of creativity. Even the reds can be very nourishing and energizing for the body. So continue to breathe in a color of your choice in through your heart and out of your heart. And as you do so, let that color fill your body from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. And now, as you continue breathing that beautiful, energizing, and healing color, let it fill a bubble of light around you. It kind of surrounds you like an egg or a cocoon. Fill that up with this light. And shoot a grounding cord down, if you like, from your root chakra at the base of your spine, all the way down through the building that you're in, all the way down through the crust of the earth. Let it go further down through the various different levels and layers until it reaches the center of the earth, the core, the heart of the earth. And now that you're fully protected and fully grounded, imagine holding hands as a group, and imagine doing something you absolutely love doing, either alone or with loved ones. And that entrains your mind with your heart, and it allows you to feel compassion, to feel good, to feel joyful. And once you're in that happy state and peaceful, relaxed state, start imagining. You can visualize it, you can hear it, you can see it, you can feel it, whichever way works best for you. Start imagining all of the water on the planet. Look at the planet as if it's the size of a basketball in front of you, and you see all that beautiful blue and turquoise and green water. You see the water in the oceans, you see the rivers flowing down, you see lakes, you see pools, you see rain, gentle rain falling in places. Now put your love into all of that water on the earth and imagine it moving into the places that are very dry and really need water. Maybe they've suffered a period of drought for a year or 5 years or 10 years. Wherever that water is most needed, let's see the water naturally moving into those places on its own accord. It might be done through increased rainfall. It might be done through rivers changing courses. And now let's imagine the opposite. And imagine water, wherever it's sitting on the earth, in too heavy, too thick, too much of a capacity. Say one area has received too much rain and the ground can't absorb it anymore, so it has flooding, localized flooding, flooding of animal fields, flooding of houses and schools. Let's imagine now that water receding. See it move away from flooded zones on its own natural accord. It might do that by having less rainfall in coming days, coming weeks there. It might do that with the land slightly rising up so the water can fall away, or maybe the spongy ground is opening up to receive more water, to fill up the aquifers below the ground that we walk on. And send your love to that water. Send your love to any areas on the earth that have too much water. And send your love to any areas on the earth that have too little water. And finally, send your love and appreciation and gratitude to any place on the earth that has just the right amounts of water. And now let's imagine that water all over the earth being clear and clean. And now let's imagine all the water in our bodies, in your body, in my body. Let's imagine all the water in humanity's bodies being clear and clean, life-supporting. And let's imagine everybody having enough water in their bodies. And those who have too much, who are not maybe processing it out, let's imagine them having less water in their bodies so that everybody has just the right amount of water in their bodies that they need to function optimally in their healthiest possible state. And let's make that water clear and clean. And now we're going to go silent for just 3 minutes as we imagine the water on the earth and the water in our bodies being at its optimal, perfect levels and being clear and clean. Okay, so start to come back, move around, move your shoulders up and down, move your head from side to side, move your arms a little, your hands, your legs, your feet, and let your grounding cord go. Just release it where it disappears in the center of the earth.
All right, and we are back.
I found that very relaxing.
Yeah,
I felt
me too.
a massage, just relaxing with water. Water is so peaceful.
It's such a huge part of our life, you know. We take it for granted.
I'm sorry about the slight interruption if somebody noticed in the middle, because suddenly kids started walking through the door and I was like, oops, I better put my mic off. So I kind of disappeared for about, did you notice, for like 10 or 15 seconds?
Yeah, I started to ask if I lost you or not, but then you came back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was
Oh,
like,
no
oh, I
problem.
wasn't expecting that. That's the problem of having your studio in the living room. Actually, it's my dining room.
Mine's the corner of my bedroom, so.
Yeah, I think I don't have enough space there for it, but I think I should create some space there for it because I
Hmm.
can really shut off all the doors from the dining room to the bedroom. And then if people walk in and out, we won't even notice.
Earlier on, you were in your bedroom, weren't you?
Yeah, but I just don't have a space for it. And I don't
All
feel
right.
like doing a live stream where you can see my bed behind me. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
I did one. Remember that? It was a Mother's Day stream that we did with Jen's Gems.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that
I
was a good
literally just
stream.
plonked my computer on my dresser, and then behind me was a bedroom.
Yeah, I've just got the old green screen here in my little corner, my little green room here.
Well, maybe that's all I need. Maybe all I need is a green screen, but then you're going to see it. You're not going to see anything fancy but green on my green screen.
Well, if you had a green screen, I could put a background in for you. I could have you on the beach or something.
Ooh, that would be cool. I love the beach. That's my go-to happy place. When we'd say, now imagine being in a beautiful place in nature. I'm always walking on the beach at
I love
sunset
it.
or sunrise during
The
that.
ocean is so breathtaking to me. You know, when I see it after, because it's usually years between when I get to see it, and it's like so overwhelming when you see all that water, and you're like, gosh, that's a lot of water.
Powerful feeling and sounding as it hits the shore.
Hmm.
There's power with that tide that comes in.
I love the beach.
I
Wouldn't
do
want to
too.
live too close to the coast, but you know,
Yeah, I have to be near a coast. I always have wanted to be. Even in Chicago, I lived on the lake. And if you look at the lake, seriously, you can't see the other side. It is like being on the ocean. But
hmm,
you know that Indiana and Michigan are there. You just can't see them.
right,
Plus, it's all kind of green instead of kind of blue.
right. Yeah, it was like that going across the Causeway Bridge in Louisiana when me and my dad were going down to New Orleans when I was like 15, and there was this, I want to say 19 or 27-mile Causeway Bridge that, I mean, you look both directions and you know, every direction is all water, and you're on this bridge, and it's like, oh
And
my,
what's it going over? What water does it go over?
it's just north of New Orleans. I'm not sure what body of water that is.
Would that be the Gulf? Are you going over any of the
No,
Gulf?
it's not the Gulf. It's separate, you know.
Is it one of those bayous, like what they say are like bits of the ocean stuck with land?
We
You
need
know,
Sherry in here. She would know what it is probably. I don't think
Sherry
she
might
lives
know.
far from it.
Although I don't
Yeah.
think she's in New Orleans.
I just remember the bridge was called the Causeway. I remember that from when I was a kid. I don't remember the body of water though. But yeah, and it was on the way to. Actually, you can go around it if you want, but you know, I saw it on the map, and my dad was like, "That's cool. Yeah, we won't break down or anything." So,
We have the same way. We have a causeway bridge that goes over Tampa Bay. But you can see
mm,
St. Pete, you can see Tampa, you can see cities off in the distance. The bay is pretty big, but not as big as Lake Michigan, where you're in Chicago and you look out on that lake, you can't see anything in all those directions. You can see the city behind you,
hmm,
but it looks like an ocean. So like if you
yeah,
didn't know what was on the other side, you might think that you did hit a
yeah,
coastline.
definitely. Speaking of Sherry, she's got Atsuko and Megan down there with her in Louisiana. So Monday, they're all going to be, I guess, squishing into the frame of the camera, and we will get them on paranormal frequencies Monday. So that's
Wonderful.
going to be.
Are they going to the haunted plantation?
She didn't mention it.
Because I
Maybe
said I
so.
would do it with Sherry, and then we never had a date. And then I sent her an email and I said, "Well, I'm kind of wimping out because I've been watching videos on it, and those are really mean ghosts. Like they hurt people in that building. But I'll still go if she wants to go. We'll just be terrified."
There was a place, and actually, when Atsuko and I met after the conference in Sedona, the lady at this place we were at was like, "Oh, if you guys are new in town, you need to go to this haunted place." And then I looked into it, and it was like, you know, talking about people that go there and kill themselves, and I'm like, "What? I don't want to go to a
I don't
place
want to
like
go to
that."
a place where people
Get
kill
smashed
themselves.
by the elevator or just jump out the window for no reason. I'm like, I don't
Well, the only thing these ghosts do is they push people down the stairs,
know.
scratch them a little, just like, I'm like, oh, do I really want to go to that kind of a place? But I will. If you're going to make me go, I will go. And I will stay under a blanket at all times while we're running around, and I'll be holding onto railings.
So definitely you don't want to be the camera person, because it'll be really.
But we will, because it'll be me and Sherry and our phones. But it's like a scary haunted place where their ghosts are really angry, and they probably they do have a good right. They have a right to be angry, because there were a lot of things going on there on the plantation that were very painful, and torture and suffering. And, if somebody misbehaved, they cut their ear off. So I'm like, I want to go to happy ghost places. I want to go where they died happy.
Well, I can imagine you guys going in there with your high vibe energy. You'll probably like run all the ghosts off and send them back to source, and they won't have an attraction anymore, and they'll be really.
I don't know. I sure hope so, because we're both very high vibe, but I've been told by a ghost hunter that I attract them, because I'm like talking to them. Hello, ghosts, where are you? I got a little phone out. I'm like, where are you? So then that kind of calls them in. They're like, oh, somebody's talking to us, and she's not afraid.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to do that in a really scary place. And I don't know, do all places with ghosts where death is involved, are they all negative and scary? I didn't think so. But usually it's a battle, there'll be a battle. That's pretty sad.
Yeah. Yeah, like war related, slave related, those types of things where.
And most people don't die kicking their heels together going, whoopee. There's usually not a nice thing happening before people die.
There's no place like home. See ya.
Bye.
That's what I thought of when you said clicking the heels together. I didn't, you mean the jumping and the hooting and hollering.
Yeah, like Peter Pan when he
right.
told Hook, Hook was going to run him through, and he had him trapped, and he said, death is a very great adventure. Like, go ahead, do it. So that's the only one I know of, and he's not even real.
Right. Never Neverland.
Never Neverland, exactly.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Eileen, and for the great meditation. And thank you guys for being here in the chat. Lots of love to you guys.
Thanks for doing the meditation for water and balance.
44 people in here. That's cool.
Cool.
All right. Lots of love to you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Thank you, Eileen.
Bye. Peace.
Peace.
If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.